I love the comment section of my videos. It's one of the greatest places in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh community. I'm not going to lie. Yes, kind of just got back from town. I look like I stuck my finger in a light socket. So, we're going to be reading some very, very interesting comments. Remember, guys, playing cancerous decks, such as meta decks, is entirely terrible, and you shouldn't do it. And after we're done reading these comments, I would like to make a rebuttal argument to basically define how much of a scumbag, cancerous, fat fuck that I am. And hopefully you guys will better understand this argument. So, first point that started this all. Wow, really? You're playing this cancer too? It must be desperate to get wins if you have to resort to cancer meta to win. First off, if you guys want to know where all of this came from, down below is my Zoodiac deck profile from yesterday. If you guys would be so gracious to check it out and enjoy the comment section, much as I have, it would be greatly appreciated. The next comment that we get further on down is, how am I salty when I'm literally asking why he's resorting to playing a cancerous meta deck when he generally doesn't play meta? That's not true. It's not true at all. I actually have a regional top with Monarchs, and I bubbled with... I actually have a regional top with the Teledat as well. And I know these aren't super relevant anymore because regionals don't mean goddamn shit, but I like to believe, guys. Like, seriously, think before you comment, dipshit. Ah, man. And the last comment, I do not win with cancer meta. Sheep mentality is those who play meta just because everyone else is playing it and can't come up with their own deck build to tinker with. You embody that mentality 100% to the teeth. You mean teen? Once Konami brings that E-ban and kills Zoodiac, I'm going to be sitting here and laughing my ass off at all of you sheep who played it. XD. Alright. First off, this is Professor Robbie here to educate you guys on why I think Zoo is not entirely terrible. And I can't remember, it was Venero Sunstrider, aka Nidier, yesterday, that made a deck profile, or not a deck profile, a discussion on the metagame, discussing, obviously 30 of the top 32 were Zoo variants, but is that really bad for the game? It's interesting when you're looking at Zoo as a dynamic, because in this person's eyes, they're considering Zoo to be a cancerous engine, which I understand where they're coming from. We always have one or two in the bunch that considers the best deck to be cancerous, but the thing is, Zoo in and itself is just an engine, and I think it's one of the coolest things about Zoo that I think that this person's missing. It's an engine that gives life in combination with something else. Now, if you're looking at Infernoids, fucking Infernoids wouldn't be anything at the moment without Zoo. I seen a pretty decent pure build that was running around, but the thing is, Zoo can only functionally do so much on its own. It's the other combination of cards that you play with it. That's why at some point the Kaiju variant is adversely stronger than the pure build, because sometimes the pure build just cannot get the job done. It kind of, I'm not going to say it effectively runs out of steam, but pure can reach a point in its gameplay plan that effectively just says, nope, I guess I'll die now. And you have the Infernoid build, which 60 cards is one thing, but Barrage gives you that immediate control. Kagetsuchi gives you the ability to further mill your deck and to create a massive amount of resources so that you can use the Infernoid engine to effectively slow down the game. But remember, Zoo is just an engine in and in itself. It is nothing more than that. And I think that's one of the things that got me with these comments is, you're right, I started this channel on the fundamentally of playing gadgets, but you fucking tell me what the fuck a red gadget normal summon effect add fucking future in my hand. Oh, sorry guys, I'm not Peter Chang. Search for yellow gadget and add it to my hand. What is that going to do against a Trident? as soon as they go battle phase attack, they're either going to equip double whiptail from their hand because they're just that good, or they're just going to Trident pop my gadget and call it a day there. You know, so you have to keep that in mind. But we all know Zoo is going to get hit. If it doesn't get hit, then the changes in August for the TCG are going to immediately clean them up. But the mentality block between your player base when they're like, I'm not gonna play this, because at this stage, I would feel like this person's no better than the meta players that they despise, because they're refusing to play a good deck, which means you're inadvertently hurting your ability to learn. You're hurting the ability that you have to win. Granted, you can make the argument that that person is trying to be, quote-unquote, better than the meta and trying to evolve and try to beat it at its source. But when you have such a good generic engine at your disposal, why would you not want to take advantage of it? And as I said, I personally really love Zoo. You know, I was one of the few people that was like super excited because, you know, having owned Zoodiac Duelist over on Facebook, having an archetype that is kind of essentially based on the stars, like, that's really fucking cool to me. So that's one of the reasons why I am sticking with Zoo, is because of that. Obviously, I have a locals now. Obviously, we have a fucking hell of a price support over at Gauntlet. But why? And this guy even makes the... Man, we're going back into the comments section here. You know, if you can't come up with your own deck, what are you doing? Well, I'm not going to say that there's not a lot of, you know, creativity, but there's not a lot of creativity anymore, you know? And what do you mean you can't come up with your own fucking deck build? Like, no one had fucking deck list post this event except for a couple regionals. I guarantee you, all those fucking regional deck lists that came off last week didn't look anything like pretty much half of the shit that came out in the fucking YCS this weekend. And then to top things off, you know, yeah, you could look at the OCG, but some of the best players in this game have to adapt those decks to the TCG. You know, a very excellent example of this was, you know, John's getting shit from Billy for fucking playing that Swords card. Fucking Japan did it first, guys. I wanted to make a video and discuss that, but the community just seems to love to find ways to essentially eat its own fucking ass. Jesus Christ. So guys, remember, it's not about resorting to playing a cancerous engine. It's not about resorting to anything that's fucking cancerous whatsoever in today's metagame. It's about the fact that players want to test and learn with the best engines in the game. People work their fucking ass off to have the best cards at their disposal. I know there are many players out there, like I had a friend that was working his ass off overtime because he wanted to play Zoo. He took as many overtime hours as he could at work just to be able to afford the deck. Now that's respectable, in my opinion. Granted, you can make the argument of why are you doing this when the deck's going to get hit? Because the guy wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh! At his best. You know, people have these goals. And this is one of the things I do not like to shit on about people is I respect a good, hardworking person that is working towards the goal of theirs. And that's something that a lot of people in this community and a lot of communities in general will totally just overlook. But when you have someone that really has something in mind, like hell, take the whole love thing, for example. Like, if you're trying to save up money for an engagement ring for your fucking fiance, you're going to work as much time as you can to, you know, just see the end look on the face. It's the same thing with trying to achieve something like, you know, having the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, quote unquote. You know, once you have it, you know you worked super hard to get it. So now the next goal is to become the best, like no one ever was. So I'm not going to say that players like this are a massive minority in this game, because they're definitely not. But much like one of the things I love to do with this channel is discuss both sides of the equation. And I get where this guy is coming from. Don't get me wrong. I am perfectly fine with the way he's doing it. However, the way that he is not, or the way that he has the mentality that is so against something, you need to be understanding of these things. You have to understand that this is what players want to do, and you can't really fucking hate on them for wanting to win. I can understand needing to take the challenge and want to play something that's not Zoo. That's fine, But even a Cosmo player topped last fucking weekend. Fucking Cosmos are dead. It's fucking 2017. Yuri Diaz fucking just is rolling over in his fucking grave somewhere going, Cosmo shit all, Zoo, 60 cards. Yuri, I fucking love you, man. Figured you would enjoy that. But, at some point, in order to get better at this game, you can't have flawed mentalities like this. I've learned this having played Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the years. If you cannot be willing to accept change, there will be times where you have to put down your tier 3 deck because, unfortunately, you just cannot win with it for that event. That's the overall downside to it, and it really sucks to say that. But, at the end of the day, you just have to adapt and become a better player. And there's nothing wrong with playing the best deck. I don't care what some guy in the comment section of a video says, but just remember that, guys. You do you if you want to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you fucking worked your ass off to pick up your Zoo engine from fucking working long hours, fucking thumbs up this video and slam that comment section. So, alright guys, I'm out. Peace. That's not all, folks. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please check out my Cardfight Vanguard channel, VanCole40. You guys will get an insight on our playtesting sessions. And please check out the Zoodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. That way you guys can follow the House of Champions and MCole40 interactions. Please check out MCole Games for all of your guys' trading card game needs. And if you guys enjoyed this content, please check out my Patreon in the description. Every bit helps to the creation of these videos. One step at a time in improvement, and that's the goal of this channel. Alright guys, have a good time, and thanks for watching.